If you are married right now, or if you were married for at least 10 years at some point in your life, I need you to stop what you are doing and stay with me for the next few minutes. Because there is a Social Security benefit you may be fully entitled to, a benefit that could be worth up to $1,500 a month, and there is a very real chance you are not collecting a single dollar of it. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you are not eligible, but because nobody from the Social Security Administration is going to call you, write you a letter, or sit you down and explain that this money exists. That is simply not how the system works. They wait for you to ask, and if you never ask, the money stays in their system and never reaches your bank account. Today, I am going to show you exactly what this benefit is, who qualifies for it, how much it is really worth, and the exact steps to claim it. And stay with me until the end, because the group most likely to miss this benefit entirely is the one almost nobody talks about, and if you are in that group, this could be the most important thing you watch all year. Before we get into it, if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, please do that right now and turn on the notification bell. Here is why it genuinely matters. Social Security rules around spousal benefits, divorce benefits, and claiming strategies are complicated, and they change. When they do, nobody explains what it means for your specific situation. That is exactly what I do on this channel. I take these confusing rules and break them down in plain English so you can claim every dollar you have earned. Subscribe, and let's get into it. Let me start with a story I think about often. There was a woman named Carol, in her late 60s, living in Ohio. Carol spent most of her life raising her children and working part-time jobs here and there, but she never earned a high income of her own. Her husband, Frank, worked full-time for over 40 years. When Carol turned 66, she went down to her Social Security office and filed for her own retirement benefit. It came out to about $700 a month. She figured that was that. That was her number. What nobody told Carol that day was that because Frank was already collecting his own benefit of around $2,800 a month, Carol was entitled to a spousal benefit worth half of his amount. That is $1,400 a month. She had been collecting $700 when she could have been collecting $1,400. For 3 years, Carol left around $700 a month on the table. That is over $25,000 gone, simply because no one explained the rule to her. Carol's story is not rare. It happens every single day, all across the country, and the reason is always the same. Nobody told them to ask. So let me explain exactly how this works, because once you understand it, you will never look at your Social Security the same way again. Here is the foundation. The Social Security spousal benefit allows you to receive a payment based on your husband's or wife's work record, instead of, or in addition to, your own. The maximum spousal benefit is 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount. That is the benefit amount your spouse is entitled to at their full retirement age. Let me give you a real example so this is crystal clear. Say your spouse is entitled to $3,000 a month at their full retirement age. 50% of that is $1,500. So if you claim your spousal benefit at your own full retirement age, you could receive up to $1,500 a month, even if you barely worked or never worked at all. Now here is the part that surprises so many people. You do not need to have a long work history of your own to qualify for this. Spouses who spent their lives raising children or caring for family or working low-wage jobs are often entitled to far more through the spousal benefit than through their own record, and they have no idea. But, and I want to be completely honest with you here, because this channel is about the truth, not hype. There is one rule you must understand. You cannot collect both your own full benefit and the full spousal benefit at the same time. Social Security does not add them together. Instead, they pay you the higher of the two. So if your own benefit is $1,200 and your spousal benefit would be $1,500, Social Security pays you $1,500, not $2,700. They essentially top you up to the higher amount. I tell you this because there are channels out there that will make it sound like you can stack these benefits and collect both in full. That is not true, and I am not going to lie to you to get a click. But here is the good news. Even being topped up to the higher amount can mean hundreds of extra dollars every single month that you are currently not receiving, and that is money worth claiming. Now let me break this down by group, because the rules are a little different depending on your situation. Find your group and listen closely to what applies to you. Group 1. You are currently married, and your spouse has already filed for their Social Security benefit. This is the most straightforward group. To claim a spousal benefit, 3 things must be true. First, your spouse must already be receiving their own Social Security benefit. This is critical. If your spouse has not filed yet, you cannot claim the spousal benefit on their record. Second, you must have been married for at least 1 year. And third, you must be at least 62 years old, unless you are caring for a child who is under 16 or who has a disability, in which case the age rule can be waived. If all 3 of those are true, you may be entitled to up to 50% of your spouse's benefit, and you should call Social Security and ask them to compare your own benefit against your spousal benefit, and put you on whichever one is higher. Group 2. You are married, but you have your own decent work record. Here is what you need to understand. Social Security will look at both numbers, your own retirement benefit and your potential spousal benefit, and pay you the higher one automatically when you file. But, and this happens more than you would think, errors occur. Sometimes a person files for their own benefit, and the spousal comparison is never run properly, especially if your spouse files for their benefit after you already filed for yours. If your spouse started collecting after you did, I want you to call Social Security and specifically ask them to check whether you are now eligible for a higher spousal benefit. This one phone call could mean a permanent raise in your monthly check. And now, Group 3. This is the group I told you to stay until the end for. This is the group that misses this benefit more than any other. If you are divorced, listen very carefully, because you may be entitled to a benefit on your ex-spouse's record, and you may have absolutely no idea. Here is the rule. If you were married for at least 10 years, and you are currently unmarried, you may be able to claim a spousal benefit of up to 50% of your ex-spouse's benefit. And here is the part that shocks people. Your ex-spouse does not need to know. It does not affect their benefit in any way. It does not reduce their check by a single penny. It does not affect their current husband or wife. And if you have been divorced for more than 2 years, your ex-spouse does not even need to have filed for their own benefit yet, as long as they are old enough to be eligible. Think about how many divorced seniors are out there right now, living on a small benefit of their own, who were married for 15, 20, 25 years to someone who earned a good income, and who have no idea they could be collecting hundreds or even over $1,000 more every single month. The marriage ended years ago, but the benefit did not. There is one more thing for this group. If you remarried, the rules change. Generally, if you remarried, you cannot collect on your ex-spouse's record while you are currently married, unless that later marriage has ended. But if you remarried after the age of 60, special rules may allow you to keep certain benefits. This is exactly the kind of situation where you should call Social Security and ask about your specific case, because the details matter and they can change the outcome. Now, let me also cover the question of claiming age, because this affects how much you actually receive. The 50% figure I have been talking about is the maximum, and you only get that full amount if you wait until your own full retirement age to claim. For people born in 1960 or later, that full retirement age is 67. If you claim your spousal benefit early as age 62, your benefit will be permanently reduced. You might receive something closer to 32 or 35% of your spouse's amount instead of the full 50%. And here is something important that catches people off guard. Unlike your own retirement benefit, the spousal benefit does not grow if you delay it past your full retirement age. With your own benefit, waiting until 70 earns you extra credits. But with the spousal benefit, there is no bonus for waiting beyond your full retirement age. So there is no reason to delay a spousal benefit past that point. Claim it when the time is right and do not leave it sitting. So here is exactly what I want you to do. This is the part of the video you should be writing down. Step 1. Go to ssa.gov and log into your My Social Security account or create one if you do not have it. It takes about 10 minutes. Look at your own benefit estimate. Then find out your spouse's or ex-spouse's benefit amount at their full retirement age. Half of their number is your potential spousal benefit. Compare it to your own. If half of their benefit is higher than your own full benefit, you may be leaving money unclaimed. Step 2. Gather your documents. For a current spouse, you will generally need your marriage certificate. For a divorced spousal benefit, you will need your marriage certificate and your divorce decree, and you will want proof that the marriage lasted at least 10 years. Have your Social Security number and your spouse's or ex-spouse's information ready as well. Step 3. Contact Social Security directly. For spousal and survivor-related benefits, you often cannot do everything online, so the most reliable way is to call them at 1-800-772-1213 or visit your local Social Security office in person. Tell them clearly. You want to know whether you are eligible for a spousal benefit, and you want them to compare it against your current benefit and pay you the higher amount. Be specific, and do not let them rush you. This is your money, and you have every right to ask. Now I want to address something honestly, because it matters in 2026. Social Security offices are busier than they have been in a very long time. Wait times on the phone can be long, and getting an appointment can take patience. I am telling you this not to discourage you, but so you are prepared. Call early in the morning, right when they open, for the shortest wait. And if you do not get it resolved on the first call, keep going. The amount of money on the line, potentially hundreds of dollars every month for the rest of your life, is absolutely worth a few phone calls. Let me leave you with this. The Social Security Administration is not your enemy. The people who work there are doing their best in an enormous and complicated system. But the honest reality is this. The system is set up so that you have to know what to ask for. It does not volunteer this information. It does not chase you down to make sure you are getting every dollar. That responsibility falls on you, and the only way you claim what you have earned is by knowing it exists and asking for it. So let me give you the quick summary. If you are married and your spouse is already collecting, you may be entitled to up to 50% of their benefit. Call and ask them to compare. If you are married with your own work record, especially if your spouse filed after you did, ask Social Security to check whether you now qualify for a higher spousal amount. And if you are divorced, were married at least 10 years, and are currently unmarried, you may be able to claim on your ex-spouse's record without them ever knowing, and without affecting their check at all. Remember the one honest truth. You do not collect both your own and the spousal benefit added together. You get the higher of the two, but for millions of people, that higher amount is hundreds of dollars more than what they are receiving right now. Before you close this video, do two things. First, go to ssa.gov and check your numbers, or pick up the phone and call them. And second, share this video with one person you love who is married, divorced, or widowed and collecting Social Security. One share takes 10 seconds. If it helps even one person discover a benefit they did not know existed, it could put thousands of dollars back into their life every single year. Money that is sitting in the system right now, waiting for someone to simply ask for it. That is what this channel is here for. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.